Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope that you had a very good holiday season and welcome to 2024. 2024 is the year of solution. 2024 is a year of accountability, and this is one that we've waited for a very long time. And I know that we say that every year at the beginning of every year. And why do we say that? Humanity is growing, changing, learning, and healing within 1 year periods than it ever has in previously in history. So whatever your perspective is on the way that things are unfolding, whatever your understanding of the awakening is, this is a very important year for that entire process, and something that the old souls have been working tirelessly to acquire. There are going to be a lot of shifts. A lot of the shifts individually are going to start happening in dream time. Myself personally, I've been having prophetic dreams for the last few weeks, which I hadn't been having for a long time. So I want to tell you about one of those, and I also want to tell you about some things that I'm working on and some things that I've been asked to discuss and to share in this video. About a week ago, I went to sleep and I was having a really vivid dream. I was not lucid in the dream, but it was a really vivid dream. Colors, characters, sounds, the scenario was really prominent. So in this dream, I was in a classroom type setting, and nothing seemed out of place, nothing seemed out of order. There was a book on my desk, and what I did is I opened the book, and what I saw were mugshots. Mugshot after mugshot after mugshot after mugshot. And none of those mugshots were retained. None of them came back with me, but the idea and the concept did stick with me. And when I'm working with the guides and the Akash, when I'm listening through the grapevines, they don't talk to me about arrests. They don't talk to me about the process of removing the ones that are here that are creating so much problem for everybody. And the goal on my channel, the work on my channel has been dedicated and focused to transcending all those things, to look outside of those things. And the reason I take that approach is because I don't want to create frustration. I don't want people waiting around for things to happen or for dominoes to fall. But that was kind of the guide's way of letting me know that things are in order, and that those here who serve and represent demonic consciousness will be cleared off the board in whatever means necessary. And that's why we're here. We're here to remove demonic consciousness from universal consciousness, and the way that we do that is we put ourselves in separation to create a honeypot for them, and they can't help but come out of the woodworks. And when we face this darkness here, it changes the chemistry, the alchemy in universal consciousness throughout the cosmos. So it's really important work that you're doing here, and I hope that you're taking it seriously. The time of looking at your old self and being frustrated about what you did or did not do has passed. Going into this year, 2 things for you personally will be very, very important. Let yourself be, or get working. The farmer cannot complain about the crops it didn't get from the seeds it didn't sow. Not all of the light workers out there are meant to take on these big, profound, paradigm-shifting projects. Not all of the light workers out there are meant to have audiences and gatherings and people that they can inform and educate and keep in the loop as to what's going on here. Some of you are feeling called to do that. Some of you are not. Some of you hear the chatter, you need to get to work, you need to get busy, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. The challenge for you and I individually is to let ourselves be in the conditions, in the place that we are, or get to work. Whatever path you choose, what your old self did or didn't do is no longer a factor in the equation. And some of you have gotten to this point and feel like you haven't made a decision or a choice on your own this entire time. as if you've been observing reality through a certain lens, and that things have unfolded for you or against you, whether your will and intention were involved or not. So if you're in that position, if you feel like you're observing things unfold rather than influencing and changing, what that tells me is that it's the Creator who's been in control of your situation the entire time. How does that sit with you? There's no accidents. There is only purpose. The Creator has determined that where you are today is where you're meant to be, where your most purpose and potential can be found. Explore that, work within it. Don't let old version of you, what you did or didn't do, change the opportunity that you have in front of you now. Change the way that you perceive yourself and the work that you've done here, because it's likely that you've done much more than you give yourself credit for. And one thing that we're all looking forward to when that veil drops is we'll get to see and experience and communicate firsthand with all of the ones that we've casually made a difference for and collectively brought upliftment to this entire place with. So maybe you're listening to this right now, I'm 60, 70, 80. What have I done with my time here? I feel like I've wasted it. Nothing could be further from the truth. And when you leave this place, it will be mission accomplished, and the party that you get will be just as big as anybody else's. But the farmer cannot complain about the crops it didn't harvest from the seeds that it didn't plant. The universe will reward action with action. So if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling lost, if you're feeling stagnant, the only way forward is action. And if that is not the option for you, then it is surrender. It is embrace. It is acceptance. So I've also been having dreams that are really vivid when I'm in them and full of excitement and adventure. And I know that a lot of you guys are there. And, I, even within the dream, will sit there in the dream and think, I can't wait till I wake up in the morning. I'm going to remember all of this. I can't believe how vivid my experience is right now. When I wake up in the morning, I'm going to re-experience what I'm going through today in this now. And then I wake up and there's nothing there. So I'm hoping that there's a seal broken in that regard soon, and that we can, seamlessly work in our dream time and in our wake time, and that we can plan in both places. That would be nice. But I have had in session more of you guys reporting that kind of involvement than I have in years previously, and I think that number will increase as we continue forward. So something else I want to talk about is that the role your parents and the mother, father, daughter, son, child dynamic has played out in your life. One of the goals in the Ascension and the awakening process is to learn to love yourself unconditionally in the way that you are loved. So you have a Creator who loves you, who you were born from, who would do anything for you, who sees you and holds you in the highest regard. And then, sometimes we don't always share that sentiment. Sometimes, we beat ourselves up. Sometimes we wish we were different. Sometimes we look in the mirror and we think, I don't like what I see. Unconditional self-love should be the priority going forward, and it's something that we should cultivate no matter how hard it is to. A very key component of that self-love, and something that can exist until you've crossed this Rubicon, unconditional love and acceptance of your parents. What have your parents done to you? What did they, what didn't they do? Do you look at your father in a positive light? Do you look at your mother in a positive light? Or, are you still judging them by the character that they were playing in the circumstances that were unfavorable? Are you still blaming the soul for being in a situation where it was unconscious and surviving and responding and behaving and acting in a way that it felt it needed to get by in this place. You know, I know for myself personally, I had a good upbringing. I had very loving parents. I had a father who told me I was special and who encouraged me to do anything that I wanted to do in life, and still does to this day. I have a mother who, you know, taught me everything I know about working and about living, and you know, my mother is the sweetest human being you will ever meet. But even me, within that dynamic, went into my adulthood feeling like there were things my parents lacked, things my parents didn't provide, you know, disservices done to myself on behalf of my parents that weren't favorable and didn't maybe set me up for the life that I wanted to live and could have lived. So a lot of my potential that went unfulfilled, I blamed my parents for not fulfilling it, which didn't really make sense. And, you know, in my situation, conditions were favorable, not perfect, but could have been a lot worse. And I've heard stories about what a lot of you guys have been through, things that I cannot repeat in this video or on this channel, and never would. You're being asked to forgive them. You're being asked to understand the conditions and the situation that they were in. You are being asked to love them unconditionally so that you can love yourself, and maybe you can't love yourself as thoroughly as you could until you forgive your parents, or until you love them regardless of what they've done to you or what the character that they're playing has done. So the challenge in 2024 is self-love to a degree that has not been experienced before, tying up all the loose ends that might be taking away from that experience. Stop beating yourself up for the work that you could have done but didn't do. Embrace yourself unconditionally. Let yourself be, or get to work. Be the beacon of forgiveness, abundance, and prosperity that humanity needs to continue to fill this divide that we've all experienced here and that we came to remove. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys.